My name is actually Robert Hennings. Most people don't know me by that name, though. Most people know me as Brother Bob. I've been a Salesian brother for 55 years. I've been living with the Salesians for 60 years. I started with the Salesians as a high school student, a freshman high school student in Watsonville, California, and then 1 year of novitiate. So that gives me the 5 years before I actually professed. And that's how I ended up with 60 years with the Salesians, but 55 years as a Salesian brother. It was rather indirect initially. My mom was the instigator. She read us the lives of the saints as nighttime stories. Amongst the various saints that she read us about, there was Dominic Savio and St. John Bosco. And these two saints impressed me. Don Bosco impressed me because he did youth work, and I was kind of attracted to that because I enjoyed working with children, even as a child myself. One thing that really struck me from the story of Don Bosco was that he promised that his students would have a place reserved for them in heaven by Mary if they said 3 Hail Marys every night before going to bed. And I thought, oh, gee, I wonder if I can get in on this deal. I started the practice of saying these 3 Hail Marys, thinking, well, I might not be a student of Don Bosco's, but maybe he'll let me slide into this group. The thing that impressed me about Dominic Savio from the reading was how he really tried to help the companions that he had, but that he also had a sense that he needed to do penance. And that kind of struck me, and I thought, I'm not all that great, and I probably should do some penance myself. And so one of the things that he did was he put rocks in his bed to make it uncomfortable to sleep. I know that Don Bosco told Dominic Savio not to do that anymore, but I didn't pay attention to that part of the story.
So what did you do?
So I went outside and I got some rocks and put them in my bed. When my mom went to change the bedding about a week later, all these rocks fell down on the floor, and well, Bob, why do you have rocks in your bed? And I said, well, I needed to do penance. And she says, no, that isn't the way you're going to do penance. Basically, she gave me the idea that, Don Bosco had given to Dominic Savio, was that there's plenty enough sacrifice for you to do in your day-to-day life by simply doing what you're supposed to do and do it to the best of your ability. And that's penance enough. You don't have to go to extremes of whipping yourself or putting rocks in your bed. We moved to South Amati, just a couple of miles away from Don Bosco Tech. I heard that there was going to be some special days, youth leadership forums. And I thought, well, gee, this is probably something that I should check into. I liked working with youth, but I was also interested in becoming a priest if possible. When I was a child, I was thinking of either being a priest or a firefighter. Now, my dad was a firefighter, so that was a given. But we had an assistant pastor who would spend some of his free time coming to the school and playing with the older boys. He didn't play with me because I was still a little munchkin, and so. But I really respected that because I realized he could be doing a lot of things with his free time rather than spending it with kids.
Yes.
And so anyway, this really kind of attracted me. That plus my mom's, encouragement by just having a good religious background. I was leaning towards the idea of becoming a priest if somebody would accept me, I wasn't sure that I was good enough to be a priest, but I thought, well, let's give it a try. And so I went to the Salesians and said, look, I'm interested in trying to become a Salesian priest. And I was accepted at our junior seminary, which was at Watsonville at the time. And I spent 4 years there, but after about 2.5 years, I thought, well, maybe God isn't really calling me to be a priest because it's so difficult for me to learn the material that I need to learn. And so I went to my director, Father Frank Vranjos was the name of my director at the time. And I told him, I said, I really believe that I have a vocation to be a Salesian, but I'm not so sure that God is calling me to be a Salesian priest. When I was younger, I didn't really understand the vocation of a brother. I had heard the term, but really hadn't gotten much information about the life of a coadjutor brother. First of all, I enjoy working with young people, and I also enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy doing things, not just working intellectually. Intellectually is fine, but I also like creating things with my hands. And so I had helped various young people younger than myself, even as a kid, to make things. I helped my younger brothers to make various things that they wanted to make and so on. And so I still enjoy working with young people that are interested in learning how to do things, you know, how to put things together, how to create various things. And I still like to even expand on that knowledge even in my old age. Like I learned how to make different things, like my walking stick here and the cover for it and so on. I don't know, I just enjoy doing all those different things, and even more so enjoy passing that knowledge on to other people. And not all Salesian brothers are following in my line of work, where I enjoy making things and repairing things of that sort. There are some brothers that really excel in administration.
Yes, I know it, yeah.
I've done administration, but that's not my favorite thing to do.
Yes.
I was financial administrator in a couple of different places, and I did the work that was needed to do that, but that wasn't my favorite thing to do. Brother John, you mentioned him. He's one of these intellectual people.
Yes.
So he's definitely different than where I'm at. He has the intellectual capacity to do marvelous things with his mind, and his memory is unbelievable. So there's a lot of variety to the Salesian Brothers' vocation.
Yes.
But the thing is, he is not administering the sacraments.
Yes.
All right, he'll encourage young people to take part in religious activities, to participate in the Eucharist and things of this sort, but they are not administering the sacraments. The Salesian priests take care of that. The brother focuses more on getting people to go to the sacraments. Well, first of all, when I was confirmed, I took Joseph as my confirmation name because I was very impressed with St. Joseph. But Don Bosco also gave St. Joseph as the patron saint for the Coadjutor Brothers. And he is such a marvelous example of the lay person, of someone who is so generous with his life to give to other people what they need, to be of support That's what coadjutor means, to be a support. So Coadjutor Brothers are there supporting. And so that falls naturally into line with St. Joseph. St. Joseph also just happens to be a carpenter. And that's one of the fields that I really enjoy, carpentry. Now he was carpenter / cabinet maker. If you're familiar with the various trades, a carpenter does more of the construction of working with wood in construction, whereas the cabinet maker builds furniture, essentially. And so he happens to be the patron saint for carpenters. And also for dads, by the way. St. Joseph just really clicks with me, my vocation, and thankfully the church chose him as the overall patron for the church. And I think that's an excellent choice for the church to make. But he was so supportive of Jesus and Mary and trying to follow the will of God to the best of his ability. He didn't always understand what God wanted of him. He was puzzled. He did not understand Mary's conception of Christ. The idea that Mary would be unfaithful to him just didn't make sense to him. Fall in love with God and try to be as cheerful as possible in serving him. I think it was Don Bosco. He might be quoting some other saint, but a sad saint is a sad sort of saint. You've got to choose to serve God in a joyful manner. A great saint is one who really enjoys being with God and sharing whatever concerns they have in their life with God, and doing so in a very happy frame of mind.